in place of Maria Athanasiou. Our new lawyer is the legal counsel and prosecutor on this trial. Gregoris Gregoriou, the Chief Technology Officer from Island Oil. His role is technology and return on investment defense. Chrysostomos Efthymiou, Marine Manager at CSC. His role in the trial is operational and breach reality witness. And Theodoros Loukaidis, Director General from Research and Innovation Foundation. His role in the trial is policy, governance, and public interest as a witness. So, through this, let's go through the incident first. What would you think? What would you do if you were the master? I will start from you, Gregory.
Okay, first I would like to, my perspective is that we're not talking about AI failure. Okay, from my understanding, there is failure on the design of the governance and accountability. AI is there to support augmented opinions of the master, but they are not the decision authority, let's say. So in the first place, it should be clear that the captain is, it's his decision about what should need to be done. Okay. We can, I mean, it's the same when captain is using other instruments like compass or to check about the weather condition, everything. It's a tool available to captain, and captain gets all the information and decide on how to proceed. It is exactly the same with AI. AI consolidates all this information and may provide one conclusion about the speeds, weather condition, everything. But again, it's captain decision to make the final call. Okay, so it's clear from that point to me, as we are not discussing about any other instruments and we're discussing about the AI, that there is a governance issue. And it needs that it's still not clear that the AI is a tool to assist people. Same as applies also to the work, not only to vessels.
Yeah, but the prosecutor has a question.
So my question is, at what point did judgment and the obedience to the AI, let's say, override? At which point?
At which point?
At which point
the
did judgment and obedience begin?
And obedience.
Yes,
so
to the AI.
Okay, if we give the override, it means that there is a judgment on the captain now to decide at any point or at some point that obedience needs to begin or not. And you are the commercial officer that manned all this equipment. You want the return on investment. Why did you invest billions in AI if you're going to depend on the obedience of the thing?
Because
so the question is, at which point you allow, you Grigori,
okay,
you allow judgment to begin?
At this stage, okay. Maybe at later stage when we have full implement the AI with the full knowledge. At this stage, there is it shouldn't be any doubt. Master has a control from the beginning. This is information just to, let's say, to assist to captain to some decision, but it should be on the captain. I mean, we are in nowadays we are blessed. We have a lot of logs on the vessel. So after the incidents, we have logs about the weather. We have logs from the satellites. We have log everything. We are aware of all the situation under the conditions the decision made, and we evaluate, and then we are either to upgrade our AI model with the new information that maybe it was an error of AI, maybe it was an issue of bad decision from the captain.
Maybe.
As we are doing the safety meetings and we are having this, let's say, knowledge after the incident, and this knowledge needs to be passed to other captains of our fleet, let's say, same should be applied with AI models. I mean, it is an incident. We need to gather all the information, evaluate, analyze this information, and then train our captains or model. Let's say.
Fair enough. As long as we have captains on board.
Yes.
We will discuss a little bit at the end if the vessel is completely autonomous. So, going to you, Chrysostomos. This case is about warfare conditions, not safety incidents. So whose worldview trained this model, do you think?
Sorry, whose?
To whose worldview we trust the trained model? So, and do you think, are we criminalizing human override here?
Yeah. So at first, I would like to thank Adonis and Subshipping News for the invitation.
Sure.
And of course, you for preparing this kind of mock trial. So to start with, I've never been part of a trial, so this is very unique for me. And
no problem.
Hopefully, I will never be part of a trial, of a real trial. So,
but they happen all the time in the maritime industry.
I already feel the pressure, so it's.
No, don't.
So
feel free.
To start with, I think that I would like to echo what the previous speaker already said, is that authority remains with the captain as long as we have captains on board. So as long as captains are on board, I think it's obvious to everyone and clear that captains will be liable for having something wrong on board. So, and I also agree that as long as the authority and responsibility is on the captain's shoulder, I think that captain should have the right to override the system. This is very important, not to, the first step is to understand this. The second part is also support and protect this right. So I feel very passionate about it, is that we need to preserve this right of the crew, of the captain. So as long as the responsibility and liability is on their shoulders, they should be the ones to override, and they should be the ones that they have the control over the decisions on board. Of course, AI, any tool supported by technology, okay, is a tool. You can be assisted by a tool, but at the same time, you need the judgment, you need the experience, you need the competence of people. So it's not simply a question about technology. And of course, we are not here to question and challenge technology. Okay, technology, it helps.
Well, actually, we want to judge it. We want to challenge it.
But at the same time, we need the judgment of people on board. So I think that we are within a transition. So we're not, in IMO discussions, we have under mass code, we have 4 degrees of autonomous shipping. The case that you just presented is degree number 1. So it's a ship assisted by technology, but still we have people on board and they have the last word when it comes to decision. Degree number 2 is having a remotely operated vessel with the crew on board. Degree number 3 is remotely controlled ship without crew. And degree number 4, and last one, is fully autonomous ship.
Yep.
And unmanned ship.
Unmanned ship.
So both, fully autonomous and unmanned. So because there is,
Human must be reliable for it. One human must be reliable for degree 4.
Even for the last part, but we talk about fully autonomous and fully unmanned ship. So, but the case that you just present, and it's over 5 years from now, is degree number 1. So imagine how many things we need to do until we reach
until we get there. Yes.
the last degree. So I think we're very far away from this, even from this scenario, I think. And you may be critical to me, but
no critical.
Yeah. I think
it's a role.
Yeah, I think I'm still young in age and young in mind, but I'm also very much appreciate what CYPRUS is doing for shipping, and I do really feel that they have a role to play. And
Great.
That's my point of view. And that we need to protect their right to take the final decisions. Even if they assisted, even if they receive recommendations by system or not. But the final word should be with the captain. That's my point of view. Because they have the liability.
Mr. Loukaidis, from your perspective now, Do you think we should govern and regulate neutrality in international law? And what type of policy do you think would be most appropriate to regulate this type of situation where we're so close to deciding almost 100% on machines, and then at some point we need to have someone be liable about it? It's a matter of years whether it's not going to be human, it's going to be the vendor or a robot or remotely controlled, but it's coming, right? In your opinion, should we regulate this, and how do we find neutrality in AI models?
So first and foremost, I agree with the predecessors that you cannot transfer duty away, and the master should always remain accountable. And as we move into a world with more AI, the humans must become more responsible. So we should never give away control. There should always be the override function, and we do need to train people to know when to hit that button. And that, of course, goes to a point about training the people on board, especially when, in a matter of a second, or a split of a second, you may end up with a disaster. So from there on, we need to be cognizant of the fact that AI is yet another advisor, okay? And similar to a CEO in his office, the same thing on a vessel or in a car, someone needs to take the final decision. And like advisors, you know, as a CEO would listen to many advisors, they will have to make up their mind. At the end of the day, someone needs to call the shots. And that should be a person. It doesn't matter if it's 5 years from now, 10 or 50 years from now, because let's not forget that machines will be around. There will be many more with abilities to think, hopefully explain the rationale, etc. But there will always be humans around as well. And if, for as long as there's even going to be one human, you can guarantee that something is going to be going wrong. And the system may not be able to predict that mistake because it's not trained like a human. Okay, so it takes us to who trains the system, what systems are we using, with whose data are these systems being trained, and of course, on what assumptions. So in international territories, is it going to be the Western or the Eastern doctrine?
Exactly.
And how do you establish neutrality?
How do you establish that?
But which neutrality? We live in a world that we don't respect international law. So how are we going to be talking about neutrality? So it's a brave new world. We have to embrace for it. We shouldn't be pushing back. I think the more you push back technology, the bigger the gap it will become, and then it will be very hard to catch up. And those who form regulatory frameworks that steer away innovation are going to be paying it dearly, especially in the age of AI. So we need to be very careful on the regulatory frameworks we put around it and the guardrails we put around it. Of course, there should be, but we need to be cognizant, speaking about the European Union where we belong, we need to be cognizant of the fact that while we remain in a very sort of neutral approach, other territories, our competitors, are actually moving in different directions. So we need to be able to adapt and adopt in the international, around the international developments as they happen. And last but not least, with more AI coming first, AI first approaches, we need to always remember that the legal duty, the ethics and the morality of decision making, but also professional judgment should always stay with a human who's trained to take that critical decision at critical times.
Okay, well heard, well respected. Let's wrap up a few minutes now.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, in Exhibit
That's
A,
the jury.
I see. No system failed, and the algorithm has been successfully optimized. The human complied, and yet, as we can see, the damage has occurred. In the same case, AI, artificial intelligence, didn't panic. The probability model was calm and in its own way speed. The captain was not, and yet authority was paralyzed. So let us be honest what we have witnessed on that scenario. This is not a debate about artificial intelligence. It's a debate about who commands a whistle when the algorithm is confident, calm. The human is responsible, and the model was trained under someone else's worldview.
Yes. So now,
And also it's probability, as you said. As you said, it's probability. AI, it's not actually AI, it's a probability logarithmic process.
Yes.
Mean you talk and you decide based on chances, not on facts.
This is a very good point, because also I would like to add to what have been mentioned that AI is still a supplementary tool. So the moment when the crew, the captain, felt kind of, let's say, psychological pressure from the AI that it needs to be in this way, this is the moment when AI stops being a supplementary tool, stops being a helper and advisor, but it turns in another shape, because it shall not give any, let's say, psychological pressure that it shall be done this way. It needs to be in a, let's say, more advisable manner rather than giving the orders.
Yeah.
Yes. If I may add, we have to see that a lot of things changed the last, let's say, 5 years, okay? When we used to have an incident, we didn't have the actual data to see what happened. Nowadays, we have everything. So now we can actually have real accountability. I mean, we can see if it was an AI issue, if it was a captain issue, if it was a vendor issue or integration. Maybe it was just an integration. I mean, they didn't implement the system the proper way. So having all this data, we will be able to analyze the accountability. And if we have, if we are able to have that accountability, then we can decide who is performing better. Okay, nowadays we are training our models, and this is why we have this a lot of investment on this tool. But let's say in 10 years, in 20 years, let's say not 20, let's say in 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, then we can see, and through the analysis, that maybe our model, in general, not always, are performing better than humans' decision. I mean, this is the same with the autonomous car. We are saying, okay, there are cases where autonomous car involved in a fatal accident, but let's have to analyze all the accidents happen by humans in this specific location, specific road.
and if the statistics show,
it's a probability.
actually, you landed us beautifully to our last round of questions, and then we will reach together, everyone here, the verdict, okay? But it goes back to this question, which is for you again. Would a master, the captain, feel protected or exposed by overriding a system that later appears statistically right? He did a mistake.
Yeah.
He should have not overwritten it, okay?
Yeah.
This is the whole point of the case, okay?
Yeah.
So, statistically, and we know it with cars, humans make more accidents when they drive compared to cars, to manless cars. So it's a question.
Yeah, for me, it's, as I said before, it's a governance issue, because at this stage, we are still building our models, okay?
Yeah,
so
but
at this stage, I believe that the governance, the policy, everything, we should have a framework in a place that the captains to feel comfortable to make their own decisions.
Okay.
Same as the other instruments that they are using. This AI now, it support their decision, not to tell them and having, let's say, then we can say that, okay, I didn't decide it was AI, to blame the AI, let's say. So at this stage, where right now, it's pure for me to captain decision to decide.
Okay.
And it should be supported by the company that way.
Okay. To the policy, yeah, and then we'll come. Yeah.
I think my view is that whatever the captain decides to do will be on blame. I mean, if he follows the instructions, the recommendations, will be blamed for over-reliance to a system. If he doesn't follow, or she doesn't follow the recommendation, will be blamed by under-reliance to the system. So it is a fact that the blame will be only on the captain. So I think, yeah. I
But
think
the policy can change, right?
No, why would the policy change?
Yeah.
History is littered with CEOs, masters, captains, pilots that have called the wrong decision at the wrong time. I'm sure there have been advisors who have been advising for the right thing.
But not the AI, though. Not the AI.
Why does it matter if it's AI? It's treated as yet another person.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's another advisor. It just happens to be a machine.
Okay.
With pros and cons.
Yeah.
So
That learns.
like humans. Maybe it learns faster. Maybe it learns the wrong things. We don't know. So history is littered with CEOs have called the wrong shots. It's going to be exactly the same thing, but around him it will have one or two machines instead just people. So it stays the same. It is the same at the very end of the day.
Fair enough.
I think policy.
So I want to stick to you, and I'll come back to you. So, should maritime AI systems be certified not only for safety, but for political alignment, neutrality? You think, in your opinion?
Who's going to certify them?
We have international maritime bodies that can certify.
Okay.
It's a question, yes or no?
Is it a question? So,
yes.
I think it's very important to note that AI will only give you back information based on what you've put in.
Exactly.
So the quality of the input of the information is going to determine what the output is.
Exactly.
So you can't generalize with AI. In order for AI to reach a 2031 a role where it'll be able to give you the right information, it has to have had data inputted over a long term that can analyze and make statistical judgment on that.
So very true. And to your question, who's going to certify them? Because if it's a Western trained system, most probably, and within political context, it won't be accepted by the agents. If it's trained on by the Chinese or the Iranians, as this case goes, would it be certified by the US? I don't think it will. So do we need to establish bodies that are actually going to do that? And on what terms? And who's going to govern the rules and regulations for certification? So in theory, yes. In practice, can it be really achieved? Debatable. And this is where I think it's important to mention that in any two systems, at the end of the day, you need to have them handshakes. You need to have handshakes between systems. But when politics and when political context steps in, this is where it gets a little bit more messy than it usually is without it.
Exactly. I have a question for the legal part.
Yeah, just can I add to this? Because 2 days ago, I actually participated in one seminar about the certification of AI bodies, AI machines about this. It was from USA, and we also discussed about the neutrality of AI, whether it is possible to train the AI machine like cloud or any other for this to be neutral, or for example, not to be neutral, but for example, for the lawyers and etc. And we reached to the conclusion that it is impossible, because yes, whether it is trained only for the lawyers, let's say, or doctors, no, it cannot be specific. It still will generalize the answers. It cannot be neutral because it also depends, for example, which AI, for example, is it the Chinese model setting, is it Western one, is it Iranian, or any like in this case. So yes, so my add would be that based also on what has been discussed by American Research Institute in the seminar, it's impossible. They also have implemented some statistics and showcased to us that it's not possible neither to make AI neutral nor to train it.
Fair enough.
May I add one perspective, just general, because as I see, hi, My name is Luzine.
Hi, Nozin.
You know, humanity is a bit resistant on a change, and I believe we have to understand the trust of humans into the AI. That's the most important thing that we didn't discuss here. Yes, the decision should be with the master, but if the company had made a decision to invest in billions, means they had some measurable assurance.
Exactly.
And that is, in normal course of actions, in the safe sailing, the technology wouldn't be in use. And the right time when a master had to trust the system, it wasn't there. So that's where I believe the governance should focus on not only training, but explaining the reason behind trusting the systems and the level of assurance that you can get that the advice as your advisor, how much it can reflect, like if there is a 99% of assurance coming from the AI, because the pattern recognition has enough data, I believe, at this extent in 2031 to give 99% safety to make a decision and pull
That's
that
the
button
problem. That's actually
and
the
save
problem.
lives.
Yeah.
It's just humanity is too resistant on the change, and this is something we need to accept.
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to debate, because some of the signals show extremely high successful statistical rate at a point where they are better than human. But yes, of course, at this point, the human has the last word. So I want to come back to you. It's a general question, but I want it very, let's say, dry. So in court, does it matter who built the AI model, or only that it recommended caution to the master and he didn't follow it?
Well, I'll tell you as it is from the legal perspective. It doesn't matter who built, when we are talking about, you mean like which company. It matters who listened, let's say, to the advice, how it has been followed. Because again, AI can advise, but it's about a human being analyzing the advice, applying the advice to the situation. So in the court, the weight will be given to the human aspect rather to the AI's scope. So it's from the court perspective, because still the courts are more traditional than modern. So, and especially if we talk about Cyprus courts, local courts, they are more traditionally orientated, and they will focus on human beings aspects.
Yeah, but this is 2031.
Exactly. Exactly.
If we are talking about Cyprus courts, I still believe that it's still the same.
So maybe the question should be who's the judge? Because would it be an AI judge, or would it be a
that's actually
probably it's going to be an AI judge, because it's very subjective. It knows who can lie. It can analyze the faces. I mean, it's so. To close a little bit, and then we can see what we think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
May I ask something?
Yes, please.
Interesting point. In a court, let's say we are 2031. Okay.
Yes.
In a court, in every court, we present evidence. The evidence is based on SOLAS accreditation certification.
Exactly.
For example, if a captain say, I received this information, I judged from the ARPA that the risk exists. With AI, the AI, let's say, product will have SOLAS accreditation. In case it doesn't have, how the court will rule?
So I think it's there are multiple parties involved in this, and obviously to get it on board, to get a system on board a vessel, it will need to ensure certain compliance with certain regulations, protocols, SOPs, etc. So that is something we didn't cover in the discussion, but I would assume and I would hope that it complies with what it needs to comply, and it has been tested, and it hasn't been commissioned as a pilot, but as a full ready blown system which can actually respond. And from there on, you do need a lot of evidence to be gathered, like any other incident when it's examined, which means that you need to also have the AI logs. This is where it's important to talk about explainable AI. Why do you, the rationale, behind that, because that will need to be analyzed. And of course, something else is the interaction between the human and the machine. So that requires another log, which also needs to be brought into the examination in order to decide before putting the blame on an individual or multiple entities, and share the blame across, because sometimes it's not one person has full ownership and control, and therefore it cannot be that person that can be blamed and only that person responsible. But you would hope that all that would have happened. Otherwise, we're in bigger danger than what it sounds we are.
Yeah.
So,
For me, the blame factor should go to the owners. Yeah.
the owners.
Yeah.
The owners
Yeah.
should take the blame since they're the ones who decided to put the AI on board.
Yeah.
So
I think
Only
yeah.
if it's certified. Only if it's certified.
Certain.
Yeah.
If it's not certified, it's the user.
I agree, but since they paid the billions or the millions to add it, that means you should have it certified and trust it to the extent of taking the final decision. If you want the master just to stay there and just be a stand-buyer,
Yeah.
that's a
Yes.
different story.
You don't need a master
At the
then.
same time, I must say that you also have to take into, it's just a five-year gap. We're not talking about the 10-year gap.
Yes.
The 5-year gap is something which means that that vessel is already under building. And that building, is it done in China? So is it a westernized thinking vessel built? At the same time, the crew who is going to be on board, who will be, will it be a westernized? Will it be a Chinese? Where will the vessel be sailing? How will the AI react depending on what you've put into it? As you said, it will be a human. So human in what sense? What you input and what you output, right? So if it's a Chinese mental
Model.
it means it would just keep to the Chinese, Asian side. So if you put that vessel to sail in a western side or the US side, it's not going to control it the same way as has been modeled to work.
Well, yes, I agree, but there is also one big assumption we need to make, which is the point that you raised. First of all, AI can operate without being connected to the cloud.
Exactly.
It can be exactly the models that we discussed, like multiple agents that you build based on your ABC maritime knowledge of all your fleet. It can never go out. It will be your own model. So neutrality can basically be created from you, the company. I want it to be neutral. I want it to understand these waters or do not understand. Take in all these accidents that happens on that Hormuz or don't take it. So that's the beauty of AI. Is you can actually build a model. It doesn't need to be connected all the time to the cloud. That's why there are some amazing models now that can run on local computers. So it's not black and white. Let me bring my last point before you guys can close your own statements as well. My point is that we used to ask whether a captain disobeyed orders. In 2031, we see and we ask whether they disobeyed the wrong algorithm, right? That's something we need to take with us. What are some of the challenges we will be facing in the next years as these algorithms and machines become more and more educated and learned and intelligent? And I will hear from you if you have something you want to share before we share 3 verdicts, and we will see what the crowd believes is the best statement to make for this case.
Yeah. I think one point that
Chrysostomos?
we need to make a differentiation between liability and accountability. I think accountability needs to be shared among vendors, among at company level, and training centers and seafarers. So accountability needs to be shared. But liability, again, I will stress out that remains with the captain. That's my point of view.
Okay.
Great. And the other thing is that what is important, because we need to also talk about scalability, and we need to see how we see this technology having a broader adoption, because we've been discussing this, we're having these kind of discussions for a number of years now. So we do know that companies dealing with autonomous ships, they've been working on such projects for 8-10 years, and they now just manage to have very, very, very short trips. So we're very far away from having an ocean-going vessels
ports need
performing
to be
voyages and
autonomous
trips.
ready. Also, not only the vessel.
Yeah.
The technology may be there, but
we
policy, government,
But
ports
we
need
also
to come up, regulations, all these need to come together for autonomous.
Because we concentrate a lot between the relationship of the user and the technology. But there is a framework behind this.
Of course.
There is a lot of work.
Yes.
So we need to train people properly.
Yes.
We need to familiarize people properly. We need to stress test the tools that we will have on board. So there are many, many, many things to do before we reach that moment. And we need to get this right. Otherwise, we'll have incidents and accidents. So, and just the last point is that we also discussed it in the past, is that systems are there and can be compromised. So you also had discussions about cybersecurity previous today. So we need to be careful.
Of course.
At which extent we rely to the technology, and at which extent we need to protect the right of the people on board. So to take the final decision. So we need to get this right. Otherwise, we won't be having technology assisting us. We won't be having technology leading us to difficult situations. So, but yeah, you need legal framework, proper training, not much hesitant from seafarers, and of course the commitment of the company to not just invest in the technology, but build the framework and the confidence of people to use the technology, because confidence is another part. So there are many, many, many aspects that we need to get everything right and complete the puzzle. Otherwise, we're lacking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Police, I have one question here.
Yes, sir.
So just to build up on Chrysostomos, I totally agree what you say. Now, I bring up to a point. I was there in California in month of December, holidaying. And you must have all heard a news on, I forgot which day, I think near to the Christmas time. There are fully automated cars called Waymo.
Waymo,
yeah.
Okay,
I've been in there.
I watch videos as well.
So what happened? One fine, we just landed. Next day we were supposed to take Waymo, and it was all shut. And not only shut, but they made a lot of chaos. And we were there. It was all rainy, and it was all the junctions on the signals. They were completely jammed. We saw that. Do you see such situations with our fully autonomous ships, middle of the ocean, not in the signal lights in the land dwellers where we are living? And if it is fully automated ships, and such situations happen, like you were mentioning, that we have to be realistic, because 4 or 5 years down the line, do we see that? And if that situation created, what's the recourse? Because here you could go reach up to the Waymo, put the cars aside, and do what you do at sea, and that to numerous ships. Do you see such situations happening with autonomous ships when they are in middle of the sea? Thank you.
I think if I may take this, is that it's exactly why we need people on board, and it's exactly why we need people, competent people, experienced people, and people that can take the difficult decisions. So, and another, it might be similar to this, is that what we experience today, we see in areas of conflict that vessels experience GPS spoofing. So, and you might see the other video with the IMO Director General speaking to a seafarer that is trapped in the area, in the Persian Gulf, and he was like, we're blind. We don't have any navigational system on board, and we can't rely to the system anymore. So what will you do? If you don't have the traditional competences, if you cannot do dead reckoning, as you know, as a captain, what will you do? how you get out of the risk. So we need to be pragmatic, and we need to find the right balance. Technology is good, it's very good. I'm very passionate. I'm a big passionate of technology, but we need to find the right balance. And we need to be pragmatic. Otherwise, we're in trouble. That's my point of view. If I would trust an unmanned car, I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. At least I won't be alone. But yeah. So I think we need to be pragmatic, and because I have a lot of experience with vessels that are trapped and they don't have a GPS anymore. So, and we see instances in Mediterranean Sea as well, Persian Gulf, Red Sea, Black Sea. So you recognize that without GPS signal, you are blind. And you need to be competent enough to reach a safe area and anchor or wait for instruction. So, okay, it might this kind of mock trial, this kind of case study, it might be forward-looking. We need to be forward-looking, but at the same time pragmatic. That's my view.
Closing statement? Yes.
Yeah, I just want to add something that we can. I mean, you have to take into consideration that it seems that less skilled people and the new generation sometimes from certain things are less, the skill are less. Okay, this is applied the same with in sea. Maybe it's not easy to find seafarer these days. So a captain of today is not the same captain as it used to be 20 years ago. I mean, more experience, more. I mean, even to be a captain was much more difficult as it is for today. Same applies to office. So if we compare how it will be an AI model in 10 years and how an employee will be an AI in 10 years, then the gap might be.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Okay.
I often ask myself what would happen if all this digital infrastructure goes off one day and we fall back to the analog world. I think a lot of people will struggle.
Will be beautiful.
But the faces I see around, we were fortunate enough that we were brought up in an analog world and we've made the crossover. So we still have the skills. But some of these people who are fully digital natives from the first day they were born, I wonder if they can use a compass. I wonder if they can get their bearings right without any of this technology. So we do need to ask ourselves, over-reliance on technology, let aside AI, is there any inherent risk in doing it? Because at the very end of the day, humans must not be conditioned, not just to comply, they must not be conditioned because we do need to act as our own race and carry on evolving and growing with all that technology surrounding us, but we still need to remain able to drive the evolution of our own species. And I think that's the biggest concern for the human race.
I would love to take hopefully a day to break this topic into a lot more tracks, and then we need to discuss it because it's a huge topic. It faces both ethical, real personal beliefs, humanism, intelligence. These are all the things that are changing the following days. So let me wrap it up now with we have 3 verdicts based on what we heard. You can say yes or hey if you agree, or no if you don't agree with the following verdicts. Verdict 1. Algorithms may advise. Humans remain sovereign.
Yeah.
Hey. Verdict 2. Go ahead.
Verdict 2. AI may influence, but override authority must be explicitly protected.
Hey. Verdict 3. Until neutrality and accountability are probable, autonomy must not escalate. Good. Fair enough. 2-1.
A big round of applause.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
The other point is that are we free? Are we innocent? Are we free to go now, or it's? Do you have any charges to face?
No charges.
Are free? Okay.
Please stand up for a photo so that we have evidence.